Rappers do this all the time. There's nothing wrong. Yes.
Recording.
Hey yo, what's up everybody?
One, action.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Tobingleba Letuli Kanye, product to the East himself, king of Southern Street 2Ls, the only boy who drinks his fans just like James Bond.
Shaken, not stirred.
And welcome to the #1 podcast
in Eastern Cape. Let's go,
Brother Play,
champ.
how did we get here?
Bro, hey, it was a journey.
It was a
Bro,
journey.
it was a
We
journey.
ran from East London. We did these things, dog.
Bro, hey, it was tough.
Brother,
it was
look who we
tough.
with, man.
You know what, now? That intro is special. I feel like you need to give people a heads up and go, can you give me like a 20-second intro of yourself? Yo, what up, what's going on? Because I think you're secretly trying to drop bars.
Hey.
Yo, what up?
I'm just hoping Rouge is watching. Man.
Hey, Rouge.
So she's like, hey,
You know
put
what?
me on a track.
How have you guys not gone to Fanta and said, hey, you dropped that line in there? It's
The
like
only
right
boy
there.
who drinks is Fanta,
It's
just
right
like
there.
James
Because
Bond.
like James Bond.
Come
You know what
on.
I'm saying?
Damn,
Look
bro,
who's
but you-
giving me game out here. This is Donovan Goliath.
One
I
and
feel like I don't
only.
even have to say his name because you already know who.
No. You must always say say my name. You know, I'm always just like, don't assume things ever, you know. And someone goes, what? No, but thank you so much for having me, Brian. Like,
It was a
you guys
pleasure.
have come a long way.
Thank
you know, the
you.
last time we did this was on the phone.
Exactly. We were like saying, like, look
Wow.
look what's happened. Even then,
Even these mics, bruh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at this logo on this mic. I'm like, hey, this is budget here. This
Hey.
is not the mic Justin J.
I remember talking to you and like we're like wrapping up the interview, right?
Yeah.
And MTN is like, yo, 1 minute.
1 minute remaining.
I'm like, yo, we gotta finish this interview real quick.
That's
bro.
amazing. But yeah, super proud of you guys, man. I think I mentioned it in the last chat that we had. You know, I really, it's been so cool watching your journey, and it's so cool to see young people really throw themselves out there and just not hold back and see the vision, you know, and believe in something. It only gets better, man. Like, I love what you're building.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. It'd be a shame for us not to mention M Studios. You know?
Yeah.
Because right here, we at M Studios. Like,
Let's
I
go,
love
champ.
it, bro.
and even you were saying, like, when you showed up here, you were like, yo, you can't believe this place is real. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, man.
But like, I really want to take it back when in your youth and you were finding your way into the entertainment industry.
Let's go.
Were there places like M Studio that was putting you on, or people like things like that?
You know what, man? I've never. Okay, so all the way back to Mtata, ne? So I've always been able to draw and paint and all of those things. But at some point in my life, I used to rap. I'm sure we spoke about
Yeah.
that. And we would sit in my fellow member of our rap group Outbreak. His name was Peeps the Villain, right? We'd sit in his bedroom and we would take cassettes. You know what a cassette is?
Yeah,
You might be
yeah, I
too
know.
young. I don't know. I just got to make sure, bruh.
Those things
Like
that Jesus
cassette,
used
what
to
do you
use
say?
back in the day.
You see it now. You see
I
it
know
now.
exactly what it is.
Probably gonna have to put a picture up here. So we'd take like cassettes, ne? Or we'd buy, or we'd get CDs with like instrumentals on. Because back then, you know, you buy the CD single with one song on, and then there's like a remix of it, and then there's an instrumental. So we'd record that onto a cassette, and then use that instrumental to rap over. And it's a complicated process.
Yeah.
Because you have two tapes together. You're recording here. There's an instrumental playing. We're using headphones. Like a broken headphone, only one works. And plug that into the mic jack, and that's how we're recording it, you know? Like, hardcore, bruh,
Yeah.
you know? And that's how we did it,
I
you
feel
know?
like you've lost the youth already. Like
I know, they're like,
they
what are
already
you
writing
talking
down
about?
steps. Like, okay,
What do you mean?
It's not as easy as just putting it on SoundCloud.
Exactly.
nah.
You know?
So we did that, and there was a small part of me that thought, yeah, you know, this rap, I'm going to be a rapper, bruh. This is the thing, you know? Straight out of Mtada, here we go, you know? And the biggest break we got was with I don't know if we're allowed to mention brands, but Coca-Cola, right? Was they were doing this tour thing with Sprite actually.
Yeah.
You know, like Sprite and basketball was quite a big thing. and so they came through with this truck, and there were performances, and you know, I remember the MC going. It was at a shopping mall called Circus Triangle in Mthatha. You know
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
At Circus Triangle, we're in the parking lot, and so we walked to this truck. And the MC is like, yo, are there any dancers, rappers, whatever, want to come and showcase their skills, come through, you know, get on stage. So Miguel and I, we traveled with our tape everywhere in case.
Just in case.
A moment like this happens.
Got
So
to
we had a
stay ready.
backpack.
Yeah.
And we had this tape, bruh, with instrumentals, or these tapes with instrumentals. And we're like, yeah, man, we'll jump on and do it. We had like 2 songs that we like, these are the songs.
Yeah.
Dude, they gave us these oversized basketball jerseys. Sprite branded, and we jumped on, but they only had one mic. So now
You had to like,
we had to like share this mic, but
yeah.
it was a vibe, you know,
Yeah.
and that just made me go, oh damn! So we are gonna make it. Like this is gonna be
You
a
had
big
that
deal.
feeling like, yo,
Yeah, bruh. You know, I was like, this is it, man. We're done here. You know, I'm out.
I'm out the hood,
I'm
bro.
out.
Mama made it.
I've made it.
You know,
But then it ended when I moved to PE to study art and design, and then Miguel moved to KZN, I think. So then that just kind of ended, you know. And then I followed my kind of art and design journey, and you know, entertainment was never a thing. Like comedy, for example. I've never wanted to do comedy. I've never thought about doing comedy at all. First stand-up comedy show I watched was in 2009. First stand-up, live stand-up I've ever seen. And then first time I jumped on stage was in 2011. Because I went to watch.
how old are you then?
How old was I? 2011? Damn. Oh, no.
Okay,
no,
now
no,
you're making us do
making me
maths.
do maths.
2011, you was.
I was 28.
There we go.
28.
There we go.
28. And I went to watch, you know, a stand-up show with some friends from work, and there were 4 people on that lineup, and yo, dude, watching these people perform, and I'm like, damn, you know, the stories that they're telling, you know, the way they're able to like move this crowd, you know, and have this crowd eating out their hands just based on pure observation, you know, is something I could totally do, you know, based on where I'm from and, you know, where I grew up. I went to Zingisa Comprehensive High School, which was an interesting shift for me, you know. And I decided that, okay, sharp, I'm gonna write my first 5-minute set.
Let's
and
go.
What was that switch though? Because like from being a rapper, what made you think like, okay, I'm a comedian now? Did you have
Yeah.
that moment that while on stage, like telling the jokes, or what was it that made the switch happen?
Dude, you know what? When I left Mtata, the rap thing, I also just, that was it. Because then I started doing religious oil paintings
Yeah.
for my Catholic priest to make money, you
Hey.
know, to get me through university. So yeah, I had forgotten about the rap thing, you know. Now it was just like focused on art. And then obviously when I moved to Joburg, excuse me, I got a job in advertising. So advertising became my thing. So not once did I ever think rap. You know, I was doing it now and then, just for fun, you know. But yeah, the comedy thing, it just, the reason I got into comedy, I think the question, the way you, how you should have framed the question was, what was the switch from moving? No, not.
Donovan's
The
taking your
switch
job,
from,
bro.
From advertising to comedy, what that was like. And honestly, not as complex and as difficult as one would think. Because all of these mediums, it's all creative mediums. It's just a different, this is a different tool that we use to express ourselves. You know, that's really all it is. We are storytelling in every single one of those things. You know, whether it's advertising, writing ads, being on stage with a mic, you know, you're rapping, whether you're doing comedy and, you know, your style is observational storytelling. It's all the same thing, basically. So for me, it wasn't that difficult, but I loved the journey into comedy because I felt like I was in control of my stories. When you're working in an environment, a creative environment, for example, you know, there's a hierarchy. There's you, there's a creative director, there's an executive creative director, there's this, there's that, there's the client. So your ideas are always being managed and filtered by other people. You know what I'm saying? So by the time it comes back down to you, kind of yours, but not yours, with somebody else's spin on it. You know what I'm saying? And I just, after being in it for 7 years, you know, I just felt like I was on a bit of a conveyor belt and I needed to just get excited again about coming up with stuff and just being afraid. And the beautiful thing about comedy is that it's instant. When you throw something out, that laughter has to come back immediately.
Yeah.
That's what makes it like, you know, the butterflies in your stomach come back because, bro, you can die now. Like, it's very easy. You think you are the greatest thing ever, then you hit one crowd that is just not feeling you. Over.
What's the greatest like bomb story you have? Like, yo, you just didn't do good.
Oh man, I have many. I have many bomb stories. Every comedian who's performed enough will tell you that they've got. I flew to, so I was in Botswana hosting their version of the Luris, you know, which was amazing. And I flew back, and there was somebody who called me and said, "Hey man, we saw you at that event, and we'd like you to come back to Bots to do this other gig." So I'm like, I'm in. I loved it, you know. I love Bots. I love the people. So I flew back that same week. Get there. I'm in my suit. It's a corporate gig.
Yeah.
I'm in my suit, everything's cool. I'm waiting I'm even early at the venue, right? Like an hour before, prepping my set. I'm like, yeah, no, I know what I'm gonna do here. I sit down. The client then comes to me and says, "Oh shucks, I didn't tell you that the audience that you're performing to, they've been on the golf course since like 9 o'clock this morning. This
Tense.
is like at 7 in the evening, and they've been drinking all day. So the guys are rowdy,
Yeah.
you know, and they are it's
So
gonna,
like hecklers and things like that.
yeah, you know, you don't want to perform to drunk people, you know.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, sharp, no, it's cool. I've got like material that can handle the crowd. When those doors opened, it was not what I was expecting, because it's bots. I'm expecting people from bots.
Yeah.
I'm expecting black people.
What did you get?
700 all white male, bro.
Tense.
Farmers.
But you know,
From
golf,
South
golf
Africa,
clubs.
Swaziland, Botswana, they've all got farms, and it was like a big convention thing. Bruh.
You're performing for the land keepers.
So now I'm there, and I'm like, oh wow, you know, like you got, and I'm supposed to do 45 minutes. I got a 45-minute set in my head, but as people are coming in, the minutes are dropping. I'm like
Yeah.
down to only 5 minutes of material now that can work
Tense.
for this crowd, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm not prepared for this. Yeah. So then the MC brings me on, but he hypes me up like I am the greatest performer of all time. I'm
Hey.
like, no, dog, just cut. Don't do that.
I'm not the funny man.
And
Hey,
then
bro.
I come on, and this crowd is rowdy, and you know, eventually they settle down a little bit. Yeah, dog. You know, I start going, and I'm 3 minutes in, and I'm getting nothing. So every comic has got that gag in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see this one. If I drop this one, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna kill you guys. But I'm saving this thing for like 20 minutes in, just in case. Dog, 4 minutes in, I've got to drop this gag.
Yeah.
It's like way too early. You know what it's like? It's like releasing the NOS button in Fast and the Furious. Like too soon, you know what's gonna happen. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Yeah. And I drop this gag, and it dies. Now I have nothing.
Tense.
7 minutes in, somebody jumps up, and I'm not even gonna use profanity. And he's just like, yeah, you're not effing funny. That's that. Then the whole crowd starts clapping. and
For
booing-
him.
clapping for me to come off, but
Tense.
booing me off. Get off the stage. I'm like, not
No.
like
That's
this.
tense.
7 minutes, bro. That's all I could manage out of 45. So I'm sitting there. Then I look up and I go, oh no, this gets worse. Because this room is long. I'm on one side. I have to walk through all of these people after dying so badly. Now, as I'm walking, they're heckling me. Yo, try maybe next time.
Yo.
Man. This. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Dude, bad, man. It'll make you question your career choice.
People think they have a
Yo.
walk of shame after sex. That
Bro.
was the walk of shame, bro.
Bro.
I personally just got into comedy. You know?
Yeah. Let's go,
Really?
champ.
I did my second show
Last
yesterday.
night.
Oh, nice.
last
And how
night.
did it go?
I killed.
Oh, nice, bro. That's amazing.
Well, Nicholas will tell you different. I don't know.
Yeah,
But Nicholas
yeah.
gave me some advice on like,
Okay.
did not kill. I thought I killed, but like from a comedy, you know, like point of view, there were certain things that I didn't do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I relied on your lazy type comedy
Yeah.
for the laughs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you learn that, and you'll get out of that quickly. You know, when you, like a lot of times guys rely on profanity just to get cheap laughs. You know, it's a bit like it's whack. You know, you don't want to do that. Or you throw the random things out because you're expecting like, oh no, they'll ride with me. The problem is when they turn on you, they turn hard because they can see that this one, you're trying to squeeze stuff out of us. The best thing that you can do is tell stories that only you could tell. For example, that's it. You know, and that's what I started doing, man. I was like telling stories about my life. You know,
Yeah.
but the trick is to frame it in such a way that, you know, because when you're talking to your friends, it's funny because you don't have to set up too much context.
Yeah.
They know the people you're speaking to. They know Oxford Road in
Yeah.
East London. You know, so you can just throw that name out there. Okay, sharp, you've set it up. Comedy, you gotta feed them and put
Yeah.
as much detail in. Especially if you're telling a long story before you get into the gag, because otherwise they left there hanging. Go, yeah, we don't really get the
Punchline
context.
didn't really hit like that.
And the trick is to get it as short as possible. So like the least amount of words. Like what Jerry Seinfeld always says that sometimes the funny is a difference between like even just shaving a letter of a word could make this thing funnier. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, man, when you think about it that way, it changes the way you write it completely. Because a lot of times, you know, you can be, and Jason always says this, you can be bri funny. Take that bri funny to a group of strangers there who, you know, maybe somebody came there with their wife and the wife didn't want to come out, or they just had an argument. There's always something you're dealing with
Yes.
in that crowd. And for you to come out and let's say you're not well known, they don't even know that you're on the lineup. They're like, yeah, Baba, we're waiting for the headline act here. Yeah, man. You know, you got to make it worth their while. So that's why I say, man, when you come through with like a fresh style, with stories that people have never heard before, or stories that people have heard before, but like a completely fresh perspective, you're always going to win.
I really have this fear of bombing.
Yeah.
So like, what's like the importance of bombing in comedy?
You have to. You know, like
I want to though.
in my mind, bro, I'm always like, you gotta die on stage before you kill on stage. You know what I'm saying? And that's the trick. It's inevitable. You know, and you can either give it up right there, or you can go back and try and figure out why it didn't work, and then try it again. It's the only way you get stronger. You know, you got to build that resistance somehow. But it's inevitable. You're gonna die a lot.
But going back to, you know, you were at a nice corporate paying job.
Yeah.
You know, so how does your family react to you saying, "Hey guys, listen, I get that this is bringing home the bacon.
Yeah.
You know, this is a nice, comfortable living, but this is not what I want."
Yeah.
You know, how do you get to that point, especially when at the age that you were?
Yeah. You know what, man? You know, in my mind, I'd built up. I've been working there for 7 years. Advertising is a very cutthroat industry.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly, you will go through things. You know, in advertising, it's really, really difficult. And when I left, I didn't just leave in jail, you know, think, I'm just going to throw myself into the comedy thing. In my mind, I always went, if this doesn't work out, I will still freelance. I can't just give it all away. You know what I'm saying? I will still freelance. And I did. Like, I set up freelance gigs in between just to sustain myself. You know, I calculated it and obviously made, that made my family, gave them. But they've always trusted me, man. Like, even, dude, leaving Mthatha to telling your parents that you're going to leave Mthatha to go and study graphic design. What is graphic design?
What is graphic design?
You know what I'm saying? What is graphic design? What are you talking about? We've never heard of this before, you know? But I guess they've always just trusted me, you know? Like, I don't like to lose, you know? Like, if I take on something, I really try and immerse myself as much as possible, understand it as much as I can before I actually get into it. I'm not a big risk taker that way. Like, when I get involved in whatever project, whatever it is, comedy, art, blah, 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 I really do my research, you know, and figure out if it is for me. And if it feels like it's not me, I pull out very quickly. You know what I'm saying? I don't go run the resources dry. I'm not that kind of person, you know. But I trust myself, though. You know, from a creative point of view, I'm like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it involves coming up with fresh ideas, put me in, coach. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like, let's try to paint a picture for the people watching. You know, you are 28. You just watched your first comedy set.
Yeah.
And then you realize, okay, this is something I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
You quit your job, but still freelance.
Yeah.
You know, you go into comedy, you're building a name, the name that everyone knows now is Donovan Goliath. How do you get to the point where you meet Jason, Nicholas, and Kate?
Yeah, dude, interesting story, man. So I get on stage, you know, I'm doing my thing, and then I meet Jason 6 months after me being on stage doing comedy. So, I mean, Jason and Nicholas will tell you the story as well. You know, they were also just trying it out, you know. And yeah, we met on stage, we vibed, and then, you know, just kept pushing each. Like, if there was a gig that came up, you're like, yo, come through, you know, speak to the organizer, you know, put this guy on, and vice versa. We were all doing this for each other. And then we decided just to make it official.
Let's
you
go.
know? We were sitting at a car wash one day, Jason and I, and a friend of mine who I used to work with said, hey, man, you guys should, because we had like a lot of weird names to call ourselves. Goliath Incorporated. Goliath. It sounded like lawyers.
Yeah.
Nothing was sticking, you know. And then his friend said, yo, why don't you guys call yourselves Goliath and Goliath? You know, that's like an interesting spin. Oh, damn, yeah, that makes sense. Sitting at a car wash, and I'm there, bro, with my MacBook, and I'm designing the logo. It was the bright yellow logo that we did, and the inspiration for the colors of that logo came from Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes, sir.
I used to love Wu-Tang back in the day. And then we made merch. We put it on black T-shirts. we made the logo yellow because the venues we were performing in were always dark. And we knew that when people take pictures, especially with the flash, we would hijack our name into the picture so
Let's
that
go.
yellow would pop.
Yeah.
You know?
And
that's
people
what
didn't
we
like
did.
that you guys made merch, eh?
Hated us.
Yeah.
Hated us, brother. Hated us. Who are you? You know, how arrogant of you to put your surnames on.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't been in the game long enough to be able to do this kind of thing. Yeah, they hated it. And we could have pulled out very soon, you know, and I'm just glad we stayed, you know, and we stuck to it. And I guess became the first family of stand-up comedy in South Africa.
Which you
know?
are. You are. When people think of, you know, even when we were like, guys, we're going to Joburg, we're telling our families, we were like, guys, the Goliaths.
Yeah.
That's when they were like, you know, yes, man, sometimes.
That
Yeah.
got us on the bus.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
You know, like, so now you've built a name, you've built a brand, and
Yeah.
you are with people you trust and you love.
Yeah.
That goes up until 2021.
Yes.
And you decide to show us with a bombshell that almost broke the internet. You are expecting a child.
Yo.
How does
Yeah.
that feel
A new edition.
to the Goliath?
Right.
clan?
You know, it's such a big deal for me, you know, because my personality has always been, you know, if I just look at my career and all the things that I've immersed myself in and the things that I've done, you know, it's very fast paced. It's just every single day is a reset button. You're just constantly moving all the time, you know. And when I found out we're having a baby, it's weird how your mindset shifts. And I go, oh, wow, you know, all this time I've been chasing something, but I've never really been able to figure out what that thing is. Now that whole thing shifts because there's purpose. Every
Let's
decision
go.
I make, everything I do, everything I throw myself in, my time, you know, I have to think about this person first and how it benefits them.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm so excited for it because it's really going to kind of lock me down. Because one of my biggest problems is it's a gift and a curse
Yeah.
when you're creative and you can do a lot of different things. 'Cause you never land on one thing. You always
Yeah, that's the thing.
play a little here,
Yeah.
you dabble there, you
Yeah.
know. It never ends. But now I think this gives you a little bit of tunnel vision to go, you're wasting your time here. You know, take this and take that, put it together and create your own lane, you know, which I think it's what my partner Davina and I started doing when the lockdown happened, when we couldn't perform anymore. You know, we just took our skills and we just started putting out content, you know, that amalgamated two worlds and just entertained us, but then also entertained the audience as well, you know, and that became like a whole new industry for us, and it's still going, you know, even now. I mean, I haven't been on stage since Feb 2020. I haven't done stand-up, you know, but I've made people laugh, you know, in another way.
Let's go.
And I'm just excited now again. You know, that same feeling that I had when I left my job and started doing comedy, and there's this weird there's this weird spontaneity where you're not sure. Like every single day is a reset button. No audience is the same. You never know what's gonna happen, but it's exciting. This is a great challenge, you know. And I feel like this new sort of industry that I'm exploring right now is it's giving me that sensation again.
Let's go.
Which I'm so excited about, man.
How does that feel? Like it's 2020, February, and you're about to put on a one-man show. You've established a name. How does that feel?
Yeah, dude, that was such a scary thing for me. And I'll explain why I say scary. Sad, actually, not scary. Because I'd shot it. I shot that one-man show. And 2 shows back to back, great. The whole thing was amazing. And then, unfortunately, the director of that show was killed. And when he had the footage with him.
Ooh,
I don't have the footage.
tense.
It's all gone, you know. Some say that it's, you know, with the police at the moment. I don't know,
You still
but
don't
I'll
know.
never see it, you know. And the weird thing is, even if I do get it, bro, just the darkness that's attached to it, it just doesn't feel right, you know. It doesn't feel right, and it was just, it's so weird for even thinking about it now. I'm like, man, you know, it wasn't that long ago, and I feel a bit like a type of way, you know, thinking about how that all transpired, because
Did it affect you in a certain way?
it did affect me, man, you know, because we had planned, you know, like the editing, the this and that. Like we had this long thing set up, and it was the first time. And I've known him for a long time, you know. But this is the first time we've worked on a big project together because it was a huge thing, you know. There were big plans that were set up for it, and it really did affect me, man, because I was like, man, I just started getting to know him, and I was so excited that we were on the same sort of
journey.
yeah, and frequency, you know, because we both agreed on what this should look like, you know, and it's so hard to find somebody like that who takes your vision and goes, totally get you. What if we add this? Because I'm the kind of person, I like to work alone. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard for me to collab with a lot of people because I like to take control, which is, I guess it's a bad thing. but for somebody to come in and throw in ideas that I never thought about, and I sit there and I go, oh, wow, yeah, that's amazing, you know? It broke my heart, man. Also, just like a young guy, bruh. You know, it's just sad. Somebody who was becoming a friend. Yo, dude, that thing was traumatizing. So traumatizing, you know. But yeah, but we move.
So you might not want to put it out if you ever get it out. But don't you like think of maybe he would want it out like that, or wanted people to see?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what's weird though is this is the flip side is when I think about the show now, there's so much more I could have done to make it better. So because it's been dormant for so long, I'm like, even if I do get that footage back, I don't know if I want to put it out. I don't know if it's good enough. Which is a
Not
bad
every
thing.
day.
Yeah, because now you sit and you think about what you could have done better.
Yes.
And yeah, that's a bad thing, you know, I guess. So I don't know, man. If I do get it back, I think I'll probably chop it up and find other interesting ways to put it out versus just one big thing. I can't say.
Donnie, man. I'm allowed to call him Donnie.
Donnie, hey, we're there now.
I'm allowed to call him Donnie.
spoke about
You
this.
said this on the first interview.
Yeah.
like,
This is true.
You're one of the most interesting people in South Africa.
Let's
and I'm
go.
so glad that you have come to our platform. I just want to say thank you to you.
Oh, thank you, my man.
And I know this is not the last conversation we're gonna have.
Yeah.
I just wanna like ask you for just the last thing. Let's say in 20 years, your child's watching this.
Yo.
What do you wanna say to your kid right now? Yo, before yo, this is you. The kid's as old as you are right now.
20 years.
Man.
Do the math.
Okay, so I'm having a daughter.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm having a girl. And it's changed my perspective completely because I've started doing a lot more research on feminism and understanding, you know, how difficult it is being a woman in the world.
Definitely.
And I'm really starting to, you know, immerse myself in that as much as possible because I'm bringing somebody into a world that isn't designed for them, that isn't set up for them. They're always on the back foot, no matter what, you know. And what I'm going to try and instill is, man, just Kanye, I think, frames it the best. Kanye's greatest tweet ever is do everything you possibly can in one lifetime. And there are times in my life where you overthink too many things. You worry about what people are going to say. You worry about this, you worry about that, you know. We sometimes extinguish fire inside of us that we really want to get out, but then there's somebody who may have said something to you, there's something that you may have seen that just kind of, it just throws you and blocks you, and like I say, extinguishes that fire. I'm going to try my best to create a world for her where she's as free as possible to explore as much as possible so that when she is my age, she's already starting to leave a legacy behind.
Let's go.
You know, I wish she's a creative. I really do. You know, I really do, because I feel like, you know, the other thing I'm trying to do at the moment is really. That's why I like you guys so much. I really like what you're doing. I like how that you're so young, you know, but this is a very gutsy thing to do.
Thank you.
And to stay consistent with it, you know. You know, you live in a world of numbers and social currency and all of these things. And if something's not doing well in the first 2 months, you give it up. But you're not doing that, you know, because you look beyond it, and you're trying to capture stories, and you're trying to create a vault that, you know, I mean, when people watch this in 20 years' time, when she watches it in 20 years' time, I got to make sure that, you know, this footage exists, which is what you guys are doing. You're documenting this kind of thing, which is fantastic, you know. But I wish she's a creative so that she, you know, trying to find like a great way to frame this without like waffling too much. I feel like in South Africa, we don't respect the creative industry. We don't respect people in the arts. We don't respect storytellers. And I feel like there's so many people out there that have been suppressed who have the keys, you know, to a lot of greatness. But they've just never been given the opportunity because it's always treated as a hobby or whatever, you know. And in 20 years' time, I'm hoping to set up something that inspires, feeds, funds those kind of people. Hopefully, like you guys too, you know, I can get involved somehow and just really help make this thing huge. And for her to kind of take over that legacy, you know, to go, let's think about the doers, the thinkers, the square pegs in the round holes out there, you know, and really do something for them. So that's my tribe, bro. That's who I target. That's who I always aim for, no matter what, you know.
Beautiful.
And yeah, and I'm just hoping that I can instill it in her.
Let's go.
You know, and then she just passes the baton on to whoever she's gonna pass it on to.
That's beautiful. And I feel like with people like you and places like M Studios that always are here to put people on like us who are trying to break into the space. I feel like by the
Yes.
time that she is at our age and she wants to do this as well, the South African industry is going to be
It's
10
got to
times
be
better.
easy for her, man.
She can come to an interview.
It
actually.
mustn't be difficult.
We
Yeah.
might even
It
interview
must
her
never
if she
be
wants.
difficult. You know, we must never sit and think, "Ish, where can we go? Who can we call?"
Yeah.
No, it can't
Yeah.
be that. You know, like we're suppressing too many amazing people out there. Like we're blocking too many stories and too many opportunities for people to actually get the stuff out. You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. That's a very loaded question and a loaded answer as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't
like,
even-
when you were answering, I was just looking at you, like,
Man.
damn.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching, like, you know, in a few years, I'm like, Michelangelo said this. I feel like that's the moment I was watching. I was like, damn, this would be in black and white, bro.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
he's gonna be like the
But-
greatest father ever.
Definitely.
Man, I'm gonna try my best, bro.
Yeah.
I really am gonna try my best, you know, just to be a role model. Like I just wanted to go, hey man, my dad.
Yeah, that was a guy.
That's my
Yeah.
dad.
Otherwise, man, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Guys, this has been the mandate. M Studios, thank you again.
Let's go.
This is your boy, Toby Kanye. Product to the East himself, king of Southern Street to us. The only boy who drinks his Fanta just like James Bond.
Shaken, not stirred.
Have you ever
Sheesh.
messed that line up?
Once.
Once. Yeah. Sometimes when I get like a little too intimidated, I do mess it
Yeah.
up. Otherwise, yeah, that's all right.
Nice.
Guys,
Thank you
damn.
so much for this, guys.
Thank you.
Sharp.
It's been the mandate. It's been beautiful. Easy.
Yo.
Beautiful. Oh, that was beautiful.